All right, y'all. So first of all, we'll do the college algebra. 3.5, systems of equations. All right, let me get my focus back in. All righty. So 3.5 systems of equations. One more coming in, y'all. Hang on just a second. Oh, got a full house tonight. All right, so the big systems we'll do toward the end of the 3.5 deal with three variables, but we're going to start out with systems of two variables. So we'll start out with systems of two variables. And then do a few of these, and then we'll step into the three variables, okay? So the first thing, when we solve systems with two variables, we'll have two different equations. So this means we'll have two equations. So the main thing you want to do, you want to make sure the equations are in the same order with the variables. And usually with the variables, I'll put the variables in alphabetical order. So I'm going to want my X's first, and then my Y's, then the equals, and then the answers. All right, so here's how we solve these two equations. We try to eliminate one of the two variables. So we can eliminate a variable by adding the two equations together. Now, remember, in order for me to eliminate one of my variables, it's got to be a positive variable in one of the equations, and it's negative in the other equation. That way, when I add them, they cancel. Okay. Now, if needed, we can change one or both of the equations. By multiplication. So if I got, say, a 2x in one equation and maybe a negative 1x in the other equation, I can multiply the equation with negative 1x by 2 to give me a negative 2x that'll cancel with a positive 2x, okay? Now, if you multiply all terms of the equation, gotta be multiplied by that number. So remember, multiplication will distribute over everything. Alrighty. So once I've eliminated one of my variables, I then solve for the remaining variable. So I've solved for the remaining variable. To get the other variable, I back substitute. So we're going to back substitute the known variable into either of the original two equations. Because y'all, these are going to have x's and y's. Well, once I solve for, say, the x, I'm going to back substitute it into one of the two original equations and solve for that remaining y, okay? Now, the answers. We write the answers as ordered pairs. Remember, those will be in alphabetical order also, but ordered pairs look like the ordered pairs we graph, okay? So you'll have an x coordinate and a y coordinate for your solutions. All right, y'all, so that's the steps I'm going to do. Make sure they're in order. X's, Y's, and then my answers. Eliminate one of the two variables by adding the two equations. Now, if I cannot eliminate a variable right off the bat, then I might have to change one or both of the equations by multiplication to eliminate a variable. Then I'll solve for the remaining variable, back substitute, and then write my answers. Now, y'all ain't gonna lie, these are some of, maybe not with two variables, but the three variables, those will probably be the longest problems we do by hand in this class all year. Now, I'm going to show y'all also how to do these on the calculator in a little while, okay? So, let's start with a two variable system. And now these will say solve by the elimination method. And they call it elimination method because we're eliminating one of our variables to solve for the other one, okay? So I'm going to start with a 5x plus 6y equals a negative 33. My next equation will be 7x minus 6y equals a negative 75. Now, I'm going to tell you this. They're going to start out mild, and they're going to turn it up as we go through these problems. So look here. I got to figure out, do I want to eliminate the x's or the y's? Well, y'all, the y's are already going to eliminate each other. I got a positive 6y and a negative 6y. So that means on this system, I'm going to start by eliminating the y variable because it's eliminating right off. So now we're going to add these two equations together. So 5 and 7 give me 12x. These y's are going to cancel out. And that 12x is going to equal a negative 108. So I got one variable left, one equation. So now at this point, we're going to solve for x. And to solve for that x, once you got a x on one side and a number, the only thing you can do is divide this, okay? So I'm going to do 12x divided by 12 is going to equal negative 108 divided by 12. So 12 divided by 12 gives me 1x like I needed. Let's see, negative 108 divided by 12 is going to be a negative 9. So look at this. We now know what the x equals. So remember, my next step, since I know what the remaining variable was, I want to back substitute into one of these two original equations. So y'all, I'll probably just back substitute it into the first equation. So I'm going to back substitute negative 9 for the x. So I'm going to have 5 times -9 plus 6y equals a -33. Now, y'all, here's what. It don't matter. You could have did 7 times -9 minus 6y equal to -75. It don't matter which equation you used.
Okay.
Only reason I picked this one because those numbers looked a little smaller. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So once you plug your number in, the first step is to multiply. That 5 times -9 give me -45 plus my 6y
equal to
equals
minus.
-33.
Mm.
And then I'm just going to add to move the 45. And then my last step will be dividing.
Yeah.
So we'll add our 45 to both sides. So those cancel, and I got my 6y. Oh, let's see, that's what, 45 -33. Oh, what am I getting, a 12 there? And then y'all look, divide by 6 on both sides. So that cancels, giving me my 1y. And then 12 divided by 6 is a 2. So I now know what my two variables are. So I write my answer as an ordered pair. And it's going to be the x first, which is -9. And then my y, which was a +2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, y'all. So this is that fun algebra y'all been waiting on, I guess. Now, if you want to, you can plug -9 and 2 into these x and y's, and that'll be a true statement. It'll be -33 equals -33, which means those are definitely the correct answers.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do a few of these by hand, and then I'm going to show y'all on that calculator. Now, notice, I didn't have to change nothing on that one. I could straight up add them, and I had variables that were going to eliminate each other, okay? So let's see here. I got a 9x plus 3y is going to equal a -12. Then I got 3x minus a y equals a -2. So I can't add these together and get rid of my variables because 9 and 3 give me 12 x's. So that don't eliminate. And 3 and -1 leave me with 2 y's. So those don't eliminate. So now I got to choose, do I want to try to get rid of the x's somehow or the y's? So here's what I'm looking at. This one's already positive and this one's negative. And there's one number that I can multiply this y by so that these will cancel.
By itself?
3.
Okay, so I'm going to try to eliminate the y's because of the signs. So I got a positive 3y here.
Yeah.
What are you going to multiply this row by if I want to get rid of these y's?
3.
By 3.
By 3.
3.
By
Yeah, because
3.
that'll give me a -3 there.
Yeah.
And that -3 and +3 is going to cancel.
Cancel out, yeah.
So what we're going to do here, we're going to multiply the second equation by 3. So we're going to come in here and multiply this whole row by 3. All righty, so let me pull my chat up because it's lighting up too. So Caitlin, yeah, I was late on that. So 3 is definitely it. So the first row is going to stay the same. So it's going to stay 9x plus 3y equals -12. Now remember, multiply everybody by 3. So that'll now give me 9x. But y'all, the x's ain't canceling because they're both positive. 3 times -1 gave me -3y. So there we're going to get the y's to cancel. And then that 3 times that -2 makes that a -6. All right, so now we're going to add these two equations. I do see that the y's are going to cancel. So 9 and 9 will give us 18x. That'll equal the right side, which is a negative 18. All right, y'all, one variable left. So now solve for x. And I like it when you got the one variable left because there's only one thing you can do to that. And that's divide that thing. So 18x divided by 18 will equal my negative 18 divided by 18. So y'all, this side's going to give me a positive 1x. And this side's going to give me what? A negative
1.
1. There you go. But we now know what the x is. So now I can come in and back substitute into either equation. And I'll probably do that first one because all that stuff is positive. But you could do this one if you like the smaller numbers. So I'm going to put a negative 1 in for x. And that'll give me 9 times negative 1 plus my 3y will equal a negative 12. And if you notice on this side, you're pretty much doing the same thing. You're going to multiply and then move that over and then divide by what's in front of your y.
Yeah.
So here I get a negative 9 plus 3y equals negative 12.
Mm-hmm.
All right, since this 9's negative, we're going to add 9 to both sides. And if y'all notice, when we move these numbers from side to side, if it's negative on this side, it becomes positive on the other side.
Correct.
And vice versa on those, okay? So those are going to cancel, and we got 3y. And y'all, what's that? Negative 12 and 9 is a negative 3.
Yeah, negative 3. Yeah, correct.
And then we're going to divide those by 3.
Negative 1.
So yeah, 1y equals negative 1. So both of mine were negative 1 on that. So negative 1 times 9 would make that a negative 9. Negative 1 times 3 makes that a negative 3. And y'all look at that. Negative 9 and negative 3 equal
Negative 12. Yeah.
negative 12. So we will have our final answer of a negative 1, negative 1. They're not too bad. You just got to keep up with what you're eliminating. And now we could have eliminated the x's. I had a 9x here. Since that's a 3x, I could have multiplied by negative 3. That would have turned that into a negative 9, and the x's would have canceled if you wanted to do it that way.
Okay.
All right, y'all, let me write one in real quick. Let me find there. Oh, she must have got kicked out. All righty, so let's try another one. And after this one, I'll do them. I'll show you my calculator. All right, y'all. This one starts out with an 8x minus 9y equals 24.5. And that's why I'm going to show them on the calculator, because sometimes I don't like decimals. And if I don't like messing with decimals, I'm just going to punch it on the calculator. But I'm going to do this one by hand to show you how fun they are. And then we'll play with that calculator. All right, second equation, 7y minus 2x equals a negative 8.5. All righty, so I'm got to do one step before I start picking these variables. What y'all think I need to do to that?
Rearrange them.
Yeah,
Change.
because remember, second equation's out of order, right? So we want both equations in the same order. So my
Yeah,
first
X
step,
and Y.
I'm going to have to rearrange
Yeah.
that second equation. So we'll have 8x minus 9y equals 24.5. Now make sure you keep the signs the same. So bring out the negative 2x plus 7y equals a negative 8.5. So good eyes on that, because y'all, this is just your third problem and you're saying that, so good job. Now I got to pick out, do I want to eliminate these X's or these Y's? Now, y'all, what I'm looking for when I'm figuring out what I want to eliminate, are the signs different? Well, both of these have opposite signs, the X's and the Y's. But which one could I make a number into the other? The easiest?
The
Well, I think it's
X.
these X's.
Mm-hmm. The
I can
X.
change a 2 into an 8 pretty
That's
quick.
right. Mm-hmm.
But y'all, that 9 and 7, oh my God. Ooh, I think the smallest number you could turn them into is like a 63.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Because 9 and 7, not too many things that they'll divide into. So if I'm going to change this row to eliminate the X's,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have to multiply this second equation by
By 4.
multiply that second equation by 4. Good job. All right, so the first equation will stay the same. 8x minus 9y equals 24.5. We're going to multiply this whole row by 4. So I get a negative 8x. So y'all, those x's are gone. A positive 28y. And that's going to equal 4 times negative 8.5. And I think that's a negative 34. But guess what? We wanted to eliminate the x's, and the x's are gone. So let's see what we got. 28 minus 9 leaves me 19y. And negative 34, 24.5 is a negative 9.5. So I'd probably be using my calculator to do these decimals for sure. But y'all, one more step, we'll know what the y equals. Now, MathLab will let you keep it in decimal form on this one. If they give you decimals to start, then you can use decimals for the answers, and you don't have to try to change them back into fractions, okay?
Okay.
So let's divide this and see what that negative 9.5 divided by 19. Because this side will give me my 1y. And y'all, that's a negative something.
1/2.
So 0.5. Good job. Now we know the y. So I can go, and I can actually use these equations up here if I wanted to. It don't matter if it's out of order. Once I start plugging the number back in, I can plug it into either of these originals, or I could use either of these where I've changed the order. It don't really matter. So I'll probably just use that first one. So I'm going to back substitute again. So a negative 0.5 for the x. Oh, that's a y though, my bad. So negative 0.5 is going in for the y. So make sure that's a y there, okay? So I'll have 8x minus 9 times a negative 0.5 equals 24.5.
Yep.
All right, y'all, so that'll be 8x. Let's see, I know that's going to be a positive. Well, half of a 9 is what, a 4.5?
Yep.
And that's going to equal 24.5. So just like we did up here, move this number first, and then we'll divide. So you want to subtract that 4.5. And all that brings down our 8x. 4.5 cancels over there. And let's see, 24.5 minus 4.5.
20.
Uh-huh. And y'all look at that. Last step, divide by the 8. Well, that cancels. Get my 1x. And let's see, decimal form, 8 will go into 20.
2.5.
2.5. There you go. Now remember, ordered pair, put the x first. Although it was the last variable we solved, it's still first in the ordered pair. So bring down your 2.5, comma, negative 0.5. Now MATLAB will let you put negative 0.5 also if you want. You don't have to have the 0 there. But like I said, MATLAB will take it either way. So this one I just did, I'm going to show you on the calculator. Now here's the thing. On the calculator, I'm going to use what they call a matrix. In a matrix, when we put these into the matrix, we got to tell the matrix what size is our system of equations. So here's how you figure out the size of a matrix. It's the number of rows times the number of columns. So these two variable equations have 2 rows for the 2 equations times the number of columns. They got the x column, the y column, and the answer column. So when we do a system of 2 variables in the matrix, it'll be a 2 by 3 matrix we're making, okay? Now, on the matrix, all I do is put in the numbers. Now, they got to be in order when you put them in. So in the matrix, I'm going to put an 8 in, a -9, and then the 24.5. On the second equation, my -2 for my x's, 7 for the y, and then -8.5 for the answer. Now, y'all got a calculator handy because I'm about to show y'all how to do this on your calculator. So I'm going to share my calculator screen. Now, over here on the left side, under the math button, there's a button that says x -1. Right above it, in blue, it says matrix. So to get into the matrix stuff, you're going to hit the second blue button up here, and then the x -1 button. Now, first thing we got to do, we got to go to the right and go to edit. Edit is how I put my matrix into the calculator. So once you highlight edit, you hit enter. Now look, mine's already got 2 by 3. So I'm 2 and then 3. And it'll give you 6 places to put these numbers. So remember, my first equation was 8x. So I would put an 8. And then you got to hit enter after each number. I would put a -9 for the y. Enter. And then it equaled 24.5. And enter. Now, notice, we're not putting in variables. But guess what? The calculator knows that the first column is the x's. It knows that our second column is the y's. And then the third column it knows is the answers. So y'all, our second row, we had a -2 for the x, enter. 7 for the y, enter. And then a -8.5 for that answer, and enter. So all our equations are now in this matrix. So what we're going to do now is quit the screen by hitting second and the mode button right next to it. See above it, it says quit in blue. Now, our matrix is in this calculator. Now we want to make this calculator solve it for us to give us the answers. So y'all, for the second time, we're going to hit second, x -1 to get to the matrix stuff. But this time, instead of edit, we're going to go to math. And once we got math highlighted, you're going to scroll down until you find RREF. Now be careful, there's a REF and then a RREF. We want the RREF because that's reduced. So it'll reduce it all the way to the answers. So once you got that RREF highlighted, hit enter. That'll bring it to the main screen. So now we're about to reduce the matrix, but guess what? We got to get the matrix. So for the third time, I'm going to hit second, x -1 for the matrix stuff. And y'all, number 1 for A, that's where I put my matrix will go, my 2x3 matrix. So since A is highlighted, I'm just going to hit enter. So now the calculator will reduce the matrix we just made after we hit enter. And y'all look at that right side. It'll be the X's on the top. And then the -0.5 is the Y value. So to always put the answers in order on the right side, X and Y. And you see how it's got a 1 highlighted in the first column on the 2.5. That means 1x is 2.5. And in the second column on the second equation, the 1's highlighted. So that means 1y is -0.5. So I guess if you notice, the calculator's a little faster than we are by hand. I sort of like doing them by hand and checking myself on the calculator. Unless I got something like decimals or numbers I don't want to mess with, fractions, then I might probably just throw them in my calculator and let it solve it. All right, so let's do one more of the 2 variables, and then we'll step into 3. So for this one, they want us to solve 5x plus 2y equals 32. 2x plus 5y equals 38. And y'all, I'll tell you the truth. I don't guess it really matters which of these variables you eliminate, right? They both got 2's and 5's.
Right.
So, do y'all want to eliminate x's or y's?
Wise.
Okay, so we're going to eliminate y. Now, you do realize either of these variables that I want to cancel, I'm going to have to change both rows. Because I can't turn a 2 into a 5. So I got to find the smallest number that I can turn the 5 and a 2 into. And also, one of them's got to be negative. So let me show you what I'm going to do to this. I think the smallest number I can turn a 2 and a 5 into is a 10.
Right.
So I'm going to multiply this row by, I guess, a +5. That'll give me a +10 there. If I make that a +10, what are you going to multiply this 5 by?
Negative.
Negative. There you go, because you got to have them cancel.
Mhm.
So let's see. Multiply the top equation. By 5. And we'll multiply the bottom equation by -2. That way I'll get a +10, -10, and those things are going to cancel.
Right.
So we said this equation by 5. So let's see what that's going to give me. 5 times 5 is 25 x's. 5 times 2 is 10y. 5 times 32, that's like 160.
Yeah.
Now, this row we're going to multiply by -2, we said. So -2 times 2 gives me -4x. -2 times 5 is a -10y. So that worked out like we wanted.
Yeah.
-2 times 38 is a -76.
76. Yeah.
So now at this point, it's a matter of, we got the y's to eliminate. 25 minus 4 is what, 21x. All right, y'all, what's this? 160 minus 76. I think it's 84, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is.
84,
It
okay.
is. Yeah.
All right, so now we're down to one variable. Solve that for the x. And y'all, the only thing we can do is divide. It cancels, give me my 1x. And then, ooh, look at that. 84 divided by 21 gives me a
Is that
4.
4?
All righty. So we know one variable, which is our 4. So now we're going to back substitute. And I'm going to put a 4 in for the x. So let's see. I guess I'll use that top one. So I'll have 5 times my 4 plus 2y equals 32. All right, y'all. So same thing again. Multiply, then we'll divide by that after we move that stuff over. So I got 20 plus 2y equals 32. I'm going to subtract my 20 to move it. So those will cancel, and we got our 2y. Oh, what's that? A positive 12.
12.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. Once again, we're down to one variable equal to a number, so I'm going to divide by that 2.
6.
So my y is 6. So this one will be what, a 4, comma 6. Now, if you did it on the calculator, it'd be a 2x3 system again. You'll put in a 5, 2, 32, a 2, 5, 38. Quit that screen, and then come back and do your RREF to your matrix, and it'll spit out a 4 and a 6 in the right column. All right, y'all, so we're about to do the big boys now. Systems of equations in 3 variables. Oh, Angela must keep getting knocked out, y'all. Let me put her back in. Now, since we got TI-84s, and if you don't have a physical TI-84 calculator, you can use the App Store. I got one on my phone. I'll show y'all real quick that I use. I use this little Calculate 84 here. And, y'all, it has all the matrix stuff I need on here if you don't have a physical calculator, okay? So you can use a phone app calculator. And if you hit second, x negative 1, it has the same stuff, okay?
Okay.
All righty. Now, systems of equation in 3 variables, they'll be something like this. A x plus a y plus a z equal to some number. Okay, it'll have 3 variables, the x column, the y column, and the z column, and the answer column. Okay? And on these, our answers will be in the form of an ordered triple. It'll be parentheses with an x, y, and z in it, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so these are a little trickier. So now the main step is turning a 3 variable system into a 2 variable system by eliminating one of these variables. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pick a variable to eliminate that I think's the easiest out of all 3, okay? Because you got to use all 3 of these equations. So what you do first, you're going to add two of the three equations. To eliminate one of the variables. So let's say I had X, Y, and Z. I'm going to eliminate one of the variables. Say I eliminate the X. That's going to leave me a Y and a Z for that little bit of addition, okay? So here's the thing. I've got three equations. If I use two of them here to eliminate one of the variables, what I got to do now, using the other equation, with either of the first two equations, so you got it? Now using the other equation with either of those two equations I just used, get rid of the same variable. So that means if I got rid of x's when I added the first two, when I pick that third equation with either one of them two, I got to get rid of the x's again. That way, I got two equations that have y's and z's only in them. Because at that point, y'all, we'll have a two-variable system. So we will solve the resulting two-variable system. Remember, when I do that, that's going to get me down to one single answer eventually. So now we back substitute the known variable into either of the two variable equations. At that point, I will have two variables known. Well, y'all, I got three variables. So what I do now, I'm going to back substitute again. I'm going to back substitute the two known variables now. Into any of the three variable equations. So usually after these problems, y'all really love the calculator, I'm going to say. Because these could take almost a page of work. Now remember, write the answers as ordered triples, which will have an X, a Y, and a Z. Or I think they even got one using R, S, and T. Just put them in alphabetical order, okay? All right, y'all. So I'll do one of these, and then I'm going to show you how to do these on the calculator. So let me, y'all good to turn? All right, y'all. So let's have some fun. All right, so y'all, this is just going to say solve. And remember, I'm going to do this one by hand, and then I'll show you on the calculator. So I got an X plus y plus z equals -1. I've got a 2x plus 5y plus 2z equals -11. And then I got a negative x plus 8y minus 3z equals -24. Now, usually what I do, since these have so many steps, is I number these equations. So I'm going to call this equation 1, equation 2, and equation 3. That way y'all can sort of keep up with what I'm actually doing to these, okay? So here's the thing. I got to pick one of these three variables that looks the easiest to eliminate. And y'all, I know what I'm looking at up here. I'm looking at those x's. Because I can add 1 and 3 right off the bat. If I add equation 1 and 3, the x's will cancel. Then I'm going to come back for my second one, remember, I got to use all three. So I can use the second equation, change the third equation by multiplying by 2, and that'll cancel the x's again. So remember, we got to use all three of these to eliminate one variable, and we've got to do it twice, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to eliminate
The X's.
the x's. So first I can add 1 and 3. So I'm going to add 1 and 3, because those will cancel the x's without changing anything. So bring down your x plus y plus z equal -1. And then bring down the negative x plus what? 8y minus 3z equals -24. Okay, so what happened? I got rid of my x's. So now 1 and 8 give me 9y. 1 and -3 give me -2z. And then -1 and -24 give me -25. So this is technically the first equation of my two variable system I'm about to have. And if you wanted to, you could call this, say, equation 4 now. Now, I've got to use the second equation this time with either equation 1 and 3 to eliminate the x's again. So y'all, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to pick the second equation and the third equation because they're opposite in sign already. And I'm going to multiply the third equation by 2. So I'm going to multiply 3 by 2, then add 2 and 3. Okay, because I used 1 and 3 here, and that means this time we had to use 2, okay? So let's multiply 3 by 2. We're going to add 2 and 3, so 2 don't change. So 2 is going to be 2x plus 5y plus 2z equals -11. And then we're going to take this third equation we said and multiply by 2. So you're going to get a -2x. 2 times 8 is what? 16y. 2 times -3 is -6z. And then 2 times -24 is a -48. But y'all, what I needed to happen happened. The x's are gone. So then 5 and 16 is what, 21y. 2 and -6, give me -4z. -11 and -48, give me -59. So technically this is our fifth equation. But look at this. Equation 4 and equation 5 both have a y, a z, and an answer. So we're going to put them together now. And we're about to solve this two-variable system. And that was what, a -59. So remember, this is 4 and 5. So here's the thing. We got to pick a variable to eliminate. We can either try to eliminate the y's or the z's. And y'all, one of those really looks easy compared to the other. What y'all want to get rid of?
Maybe we could get rid of the Z's.
Yeah.
It's going to be definitely easier to get rid of the z. I don't even know what 21 and 9 go into, y'all. It's probably a big number.
Yeah.
But I got a -4 and a -2. I can multiply this equation right here by -2. Because the
Yeah.
-2 times -2 will make that a 4. That'll cancel this -4, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going to multiply. So let me write my number. That's 4, and that was 5. So I'm going to multiply 4 by -2. Then I'm going to add 4 and 5. All righty, so 4 is right here. We're going to multiply by -2. So look, we'll get a -18y. Positive 4z. And then a positive 50. Second row don't change. 21y minus that 4z equal to -59.
Nice.
Are y'all happy? The second variable now is gone, the z's. So all we got left are these y's.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what y'all got. -18 and 21.
3y.
And then that's going to equal a negative something,
-9.
-9. And guess what? You're down to the last step. Divide by 3. You know, there's my 1y. And that's what, a -3. So we know one variable. We know what the y is. So here's where all the back substituting comes in. Since I know the y, I can put the y into either one of these equations and solve for the z. Once I know the y and the z, I'm going to go back up to one of these big equations, okay? So this is just a lot of back substituting. So I'm going to start out with -3 for y. Now remember, I got to go into one of the two variable ones, okay? So I'm just going to use this top one and put me a -3 in for that y. So I got 9 times -3 minus 2z equals a -25. Okay, y'all, the same thing we've been doing. Multiply first. Get a -27 minus 2z equals -25. And then, y'all, the same thing we've been doing. Move the number over before we divide. So let's add our 27. So those will cancel. -2z is a +2. And y'all, last step, divide by the -2. So -2 divided by -2 gives me my 1z. Well, that's a popular number today, -1, right?
Yeah.
I think we've done got that answer quite a bit. But I know two answers So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull down this top one. It looks the easiest. I'm going to put in for my y, my z, and we'll solve that for the x. So I'm going to have -3 for y, -1 for z. And I'm going to do the first equation, which was x plus y plus z equals -1. I don't know the x. I know the y is -3. I know the z is -1. And all that equaled a -1. So this is the one that's going to be different because I'm going to add those two together first. So anytime you plug in two variables, you're going to have a little bit of combining like terms. So a -3 minus 1 is a -4. And y'all, last step, we're going to have to move that -4 by adding 4 to both sides. So I get my x. Those cancel. And basically that's a 4 minus 1, which will give us a 3. Now remember, ordered triple in alphabetical order will be the 3 for the x. Where's my y? My y is right here, a -3. And then my z, which is a -1. All right, so now I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to show you how to put this into the calculator. 1, 1, 1, -1. 2, 5, 2, -11. -1, 8, -3, -24. First off, we got to figure out how many rows times columns. We all got what? 3 rows by 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So in the matrix, this will now be a 3 by 4. Okay. So remember, you've always got to have one more row than you have columns to solve these type of equations, okay? All right, y'all, so here we go. We're going to go to calculator. Let me clear everything off. All right, so second, x -1 to get the matrix. Arrow over to edit and hit enter. So you always said I had what, a 3 by 4? So that'll be a 3 enter by 4 enter. And actually, when you're talking matrix lingo, 3 by 4 is what we call the order of the matrix. And the order is always, like I said, the rows times the columns. All right, y'all. So on this one, I had 1x. So 1 enter, 1 y, enter, 1 z, enter, and that equaled -1. And enter. Second row, I had 2x, 2 enter, 5y would be 5 enter, 2z would be 2 enter, and that equaled -11. And enter. My third equation was a -1 for the x, enter, 8 for the y, enter, -3 for the z, enter, and then that equaled a -24. And enter. So enter after every number. Now remember, my matrix is now in this calculator, so now I can quit the screen by hitting second mode. All right, y'all, remember, I got the matrix in there, so now we got to make it do the math for us. So hit second, x -1, highlight math. And remember, I'm going to scroll down till I find RREF and enter. Now, the third time, second, x -1. But this time I'm just going to hit enter because there's my 3 by 4 matrix. So it's on the screen. Now remember, we got 3, -3, -1 by hand. So when we hit enter, look at that right column, y'all. 3 for the X, -3 for the Y, -1 for the Z. So notice it took me almost a whole page of paper to do that, and the calculator spits them out pretty quick, okay? And we take them either way you want to do them. Do you want to do them by hand or do you want to do them with the calculator? It don't matter. All right, y'all. So y'all got a calculator handy?
Yeah.
Yes.
So let me give y'all one to play with for your calculator. See what y'all do on this one. And I'll give y'all say 5 minutes to see if y'all can get me an answer. So I got an 8x minus a y plus a z is going to equal -57. 2x plus 2y minus 3z equals 12. And then an x minus 3y plus 2z equals a -27. Now, I will say, if I was doing this by hand, I don't think any of these variables are too bad. I can change the x into a 2x and an 8x on that one. I can change that -1 into a 2 or 3 on that one. And then 1, -3, 2 wouldn't be bad on that one. So pretty similar to the one we just did by hand. But I'm going to get y'all good on the calculator and see what y'all get on this. And I'll tell you, on these 3x4s, you should always get nice integer type numbers, like a positive or negative whole number. You shouldn't get any decimals on the 3x4 ones, okay? Because we didn't give you any with decimals. So if you get something that looks like decimals, you might want to go back to the edit and see if you actually got your numbers correct. Because usually, if there's any mistakes, it's when you're putting it in. But you can go back in and fix any mistakes by just clicking on the number where you had the mistake at, okay?
-6, 3, -6.
Oh, damn, that's quick. Good job. So y'all should end up with a -6, 3, and a -6. Gotta love them calculators, don't you? All right, anyone get anything different? So y'all, these are good. Get good on that calculator. Use that matrix for these, okay? It's the quickest way. All righty, y'all. So that was your 3.5 college algebra. There'll be like 2 or 3 of these, I think. Do them by hand if you want to. See how you do. If not, these will all be in order on the big ones like this. They'll all have the X, Y's, and Z's in order. So punch them in, reduce them, and be done with them. So y'all got questions on 3.5? Oh, y'all, let me let one in. I think I got it. All righty. All right, so still nothing there. So I wanted to knock out this 3.6 support. Because Thursday we'll have to do 3.6 college algebra and 3.7 college algebra. And that'll be the last material for our first test on Thursday. Now, when we come in next Tuesday will be our test review day. We'll go over the study guide for your first test, okay? So here, let's knock out support 4.3.6. And this support here is just getting you used to math talk. They're going to give me a sentence and I got to write an equation out of it or an expression. So like this first one says, write as a mathematical expression, and they're giving us a number increased by 6. And they always say the variable is going to be X on these unless they give you something different. So how can I represent a number increased by 6 as a mathematical expression? Well, y'all, we don't know the number, so guess what? I don't know the number. It's going to be an X. So what does increased by mean? Oh, I see it already. Caitlin, you got it on the chat already. X plus 6, perfect. So increased by means adding or plus, okay? So how about 2? Let's try something like this. The quotient of a number and 7. So what does quotient mean you're doing?
And so,
Okay, so let me see. Caitlin, you're quick on there. X divided by 7, perfect. There you go, right? Quotient means division. It's like the answer of division, right?
mhm.
All right, they got one like this. 36 less than some number.
You must gonna subtract with that one.
So that'll be, I don't know this number, so some number X and minus my 36. So they're just trying to get you back into math terms and stuff. Because what's going to happen Thursday, 3.6 is doing the same thing as we just did in 3.5, except they're going to give us word problems and we got to sort of write the equations from those. All right, so this one, same one, number 4, a number increased by 5. Well, we did that one up here. But how about this one, this number 5? It says 26 more than twice a number.
Multiplication.
So I got multiplication with the twice. And then they got this more. So I'm trying to see if Caitlin puts that up there.
What is it? 2x plus 26?
Perfect. Perfect. 2x plus 26. All right, so 6, 7, and 8 were pretty much the same. Then this number 9, let's see what we do here. Number 9 said Justin had $43 before spending few dollars on some jeans. How much money remains? Well, we know what he started with. He started with 43.
Mhm.
Now, apparently they're using Q on this, But if you spend Q dollars, what are you doing?
Subtracting.
Subtracting. So that'd be what? 43 minus
Q.
RQ. All right, y'all. So number 10 was the last one for support. So let me see. Now number 10 will be minor compared to 3-6 on Thursday. So check this out. The first sentence, it says the sum of two numbers is 7. Then they say 3 times the larger so 3 times the larger number plus 2 times the smaller number is 34. Then guess what they say? Find the numbers. They actually want us to find what these numbers are. So y'all write me a sentence that tells me this equation. The sum of two numbers is 7. Now remember, is means equals, okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how would you write the sum of two numbers? You don't know those numbers.
No.
So I'm just going to be able to call these variables then.
Yeah.
So we'll have what? X,
Y.
plus my Y.
One
So we know that equaled
7.
7. So if I make this X my larger number and Y my smaller number, this gives me the second equation. So it says 3 times the larger number. Well, y'all, that'd be what, a 3X
Yeah.
plus 2 times the smaller number. That'd be what, a 2Y.
Y. Mm-hmm.
And then remember, that's going to equal 34. So y'all, we just interpreted a 2-variable system from these equations, from these 2 lines. So now you get to solve this for these variables. So pick a variable y'all want to eliminate. Oh, Nancy, I didn't see yours over here. Yeah, X plus Y equals 7. Perfect. All right, y'all. So, I mean, you're going to have to change the row no matter what on this one.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So we can either get rid of the X's by multiplying by -3 up here, or we can get rid of Y's by multiplying by -2.
Mm-hmm. Either one.
So you're saying the what?
The Y's. The Y's.
Okay, so they're easier, right? So to eliminate the Y, I'm going to multiply first equation by -2, right?
Yeah.
So multiply top equation by a -2. So we're just going to come in and multiply the whole thing by -2. Oh, you picked a good one because you'll see in a second. So -2x minus 2y equals -14. 3x plus 2y equals 34. Oh, you did good on those x's because what's 3 minus 2?
1.
That leaves me 1x.
Mm-hmm.
These y's cancel. So this 1x equals whatever 34 minus 14 is. And
20.
there's a 20. So the x is done.
Yeah.
So now I can come up here. This first equation looks a lot easier to me. So I'm going to back substitute into that one. 20 for my x. So I got 20 plus y equals 7. Now y'all do realize one thing here. At this point, x plus y equals 7. 3x plus 2y equals 34. You could have put that in the calculator as a 2 by 3 matrix, 117, 3, 2, 34. And it would spit out the same answers as we're about to get.
Mhm.
All I gotta do is move the 20 over, right?
Right.
So subtract the 20, y'all. Well, those cancel. We get a y is what, a negative
13.
13.
Mhm.
Now this one, it won't have me put it as an ordered pair. This one will say the larger number is blank. And then the smaller number is blank. So when they give you this, you don't have to put them in as your ordered pair. So let's say my larger number would have to be the 20. And then my smaller number is the negative 13. But a 20 and a negative 13 equal 7. So we can check it out and see that we actually got these in the right answers on them, okay?
Yep.
So y'all, that's the support. It's just getting you back into word problem lingo, using words like sum, times, plus, quotient, increased by, and all that fun stuff, okay?
Yeah.
All right, now next class we'll do 3.6 and 3.7. 3.6 don't have many problems. We just gotta sort of do like here and figure out what the sentences are or our equations and then solve them. 3.7 is have y'all ever shaded on a number line like x was greater than 3 and you shaded the number line and stuff? We're going to do that with x and y, and we're going to shade sections of these graphs. So let's see. Tonight you got your 3.5 college algebra, and we did 3.6 support. I'm gonna quit my share. All right, y'all. So questions on anything?
No, not really.
Yeah, these ain't too bad. You just got to sort of keep up, especially if you're doing them by hand. Sort of keep up with what you're doing on them, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll shut us down, and I'll bring back up Zoom if anyone's got anything they need fixed, okay?
Alrighty.
Okay, hold on, y'all. Hang on 1 second. I got one request for one on the calculator. So if
Yeah.
you're good on the calculator, you can go. Faith, stay on here, and I'll do another one for you. But if you're good, I'll see y'all next Tuesday. I mean, no,
I mean
Thursday.
Thursday.
All righty, so let me share, and I'm going to do one on the calculator again. All righty, so these will be sorted like the ones y'all are going to see. So we did one like this one. That's the one I did in class. So let's do, how about this number 8 right here? So I got 3 rows by 4 columns. So I'm going to go on my calculator, and it's going to be a 3 by 4. Now remember, on the calculator, I'm going to put in an 8, negative 1, 1, negative 57, 2, 2, negative 3, 12, 1, negative 3, 2, negative 27. So let's go to our calculator. And let me clear all this off. All right, so remember now, we're going into the matrix. So hit second, x negative 1, and then we're going to go to edit to put in our matrix. So on edit, I'm just going to hit enter. So it's still a 3 by 4 because I did one more go. So I'm just going to hit enter, enter, and then start putting in my numbers. So 8x was an 8, enter. Negative y is a -1, enter. Z is a 1, enter. And then I had a -57 and enter. All right, my second row I had a 2x. So 2y was a 2. -3z is a -3. And then that was a 12 for that answer. And enter. All right, my last row was 1x. Enter. -3y. Enter. 2z, so 2, enter. And that one equaled a -27. And enter. So I entered all my numbers and see how it goes back to the top number. Once you got everything in, it'll go back up to there to sort of let you know. But now I'm going to quit the screen since I got my matrix in there. So I'm going to hit second mode and quit my screen. All right, y'all. So next step was to go get the RREF. So go back to the matrix, second x -1, arrow over to math, and then arrow down to RREF. So RREF, hit enter. That'll bring it on the screen. And then for the third time, remember, go back to the matrix, second x -1. But this time I'm just going to hit enter. Because I usually keep all my matrices in A. So I'm going to hit enter. And then enter to get my final answers on the right column. And I got what, a -6, 3, -6. Hey, that's almost like when y'all gave me one go. Oh, hell, that's the one I told y'all to do on your own wall go. No wonder that answer looked familiar.
Okay, can you do it one more time for me?
Yeah, let me do a different problem, though. I'm on a different one. So I'm going to do my number 10, and let me show y'all this. Let me see what my chat's saying. So let me do number 10. So this number 10 here, I'm going to do this one. So 4, 3, 1, -3, 1, -3, 2, 5, 11, -2, 3, and 12. I still got it 3 by 4. And anytime you got 3 variables, it's going to be a 3 by 4. All right, y'all. So let's go put that in. Let me find my cursor. All right, so I'm going to clear everything off. All right, remember, second matrix, second x -1, to edit first. So that's going to let us put it in. All right, so we already got a 3 by 4, so I'm just going to hit enter, enter, and start putting in my numbers. So y'all, that one I had a 4 for the x, 3 for the y, 1 for the z, -3 for the answer. All right, all those are in. I'm on my second row now. I had 1 for the x, -3 for the y, 2 for the z, and then a 5 for that answer. Now, my last row I had 11 for the x, -2 for the y, 3 for the z, and that one had a 12 for the answer. Now, y'all notice I'm using this negative down here in the parentheses for my negative numbers, not that subtraction. Nancy, is that the one I'm about to do? 1, -2, -1. Okay, so we're about to check Nancy out. So I'm going to quit this screen by hitting second mode. Now we're going to go get RREF by hitting second x -1 for matrix stuff. We're doing math to it. And then arrow down on the math column, RREF, and enter. Now, second x -1 again. But remember, this time I'm just going to hit enter to grab my matrix out, my 3 by 4. So it brings it all on the screen, and let's hit enter. We're looking for a 1, -2, -1. Nancy, perfect, because look, I got a 1, -2, -1. So y'all,
Oh,
you just
wait a
got,
minute, Mr. Eugene,
huh?
because I think I mistyped something. So on the second
So,
screen,
so,
That was my problem. Like in
so,
the beginning
so
was
let's do this. Let's go and my matrix. I'm going to edit and hit enter. Make sure your numbers are matching mine. So go to edit and see you got 4, 3, 1, -3 for your first row.
okay.
1, -3, 2, 5 on your second row. And then 11, -2, 3, and 12 on your last row.
Okay.
Are
Yeah, but
any of them looking bad?
we're good so far.
And you checked them all out?
Yeah, we're good so far. It's just like after this step is where like it
Okay.
gets
So now we're going to quit the screen by hitting second and the mode button right next to it.
in the mode. Okay.
So we're quit. So now our
Mhm.
matrix is in the calculator. What we got to do is tell the matrix we want to do this reduced row to it. So hit second x -1 over here.
Mhm.
Go to your math column.
Okay.
And then arrow all the way down. And you want REF. See, they got a REF, but on REF, it gives you only one answer and you got to back substitute. So we always want the RREF so it gives us all the answers. All right, is that highlighted on yours?
Mhm.
Hit enter. So your screen should have a RREF on it right now.
Yep.
All righty. So now we're going to go get the matrix. So hit second x -1.
Okay. Okay.
And your A should be your 3x4. So just hit enter.
Yeah.
So right now your screen should say RREF, matrix, A if you used A. So guess what? Hit enter to get me them answers. So how's that looking?
Sorry, I gotta add. Okay, so I have the A in here and then I hit enter.
Uh-huh.
Enter. Oh, okay.
So that right column should have your X, Y, and Z in order. The top one, the 1 is the X, -2 is your Y, and then that -1 on bottom is your Z.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's the answer.
That's the final answer. That's my X, Y, and Z.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm gonna send this video out so y'all watch it as much as you got to. Get used to that calculator because it'll knock these out really quick for you. Even in 3-6 that we're about to do Thursday, since we're making these kind of equations, I'll probably do 1 or 2 by hand, and then I'm going to knock them out on the calculator.
Okay, then. Sounds good.
Yeah, not too bad, y'all. It's just getting used to them, okay?
It's that step-by-step process again.
Definitely. Definitely.
Thank
All right. Well, thank you.
Alrighty,
Okay.
y'all. So I'm going to quit my video. That way I can get it sent out to y'all.